Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So we've got our CM Bros clear speed and utilization rate for the most recent memory chaos, and it includes, that's right, Huohuo. But take a look at who is number one in terms of the fastest average cycle clear. That's right, it is Jing Yuan. Damn, look at King Yuan doing it at the very top over units like Dang Han and even Jing Liu for the average cycle clear. Honestly, amazing work. Now let's take a look. The first thing we need to address is obviously the current buff really suits Jing Yuan and his new piece that helps with the follow-up team gameplay, which is Topaz, right? So currently, after a character unleashes an ultimate or a follow-up attack, deal to the attacked enemy target additional damage equal to 60% of the attacking character's attack 4 times. So every time Jing Yuan uses the ult or when lightning lure strikes, boom, some additional attack will be coming out from that. So undoubtedly, of course, this cycle will benefit follow-up units even more. So Topaz is going to do massive amounts of damage there as well. But one other thing is there is no more lightning resist, right? In the previous memory chaos, unless my memories are wrong, I pretty much remember every boss enemy will, at least one side will resist lightning. That's why Jing Yuan and even Kafka is not that widely used, but currently the 2 memory chaos bosses, no lightning resist. So very good overall for Jing Yuan and Topaz. So of course at the very top we see them sitting at 4.69 in terms of the average cycle clears, and the utilization rate is decent as well at 12.1%. Now you can see that most people are using that in the this team in the first half, 89 to 11%. And this team, I think, has got so many synergies. Topaz and Jing Yuan dual core, right? Especially if it's E1 Topaz, man, the amount of damage coming out is going to be insane. On top of that, Huohuo is really good. You'd think that people might be using Fushan, for example, to provide the extra crit rate, to provide the extra damage for the remaining team. But Huohuo heals are really good, especially if you E1 Huohuo, the speed buff, along with Acid, you can reach 200 speed easily, right? That means 3 turns for the 0 cycle starts. Really big impact out of that. Then of course Huohuo, the constant heals and the debuff, the spells, really fantastic as well. And of course, Asta currently is, I think, one of the better supports for Jing Yuan. Just that the speed buff and the everything else she provides is quite important in comparison to someone else. Such as Ting, for example. So this is the most popular team with the fastest cycle clear, and the second Jing Yuan team is not that far behind at 5.5. Very interesting to see that out of the top 5 teams, 3 are Jing Yuan and Topaz. Man, that combination is sweet. You can see I talked about Fushan, and the Fushan team is there as well. So other than that, Dang Han is right up there as well, followed by, look, Kafka. Kafka's there with a follow-up. So right now we're not really playing quote-unquote a dot Kafka in this sense. I mean, she will do damage over time, but again, we're abusing her follow-up attacks. So this is going to be a follow-up Kafka with Topaz, and followed by more Dang Han. And it's not until later on that we see another unit, right? You can see the appearance utilization rate for Jing Liu is really high. So a lot of people did pull for Jing Liu, but this is averaging 6 cycles. But it is the second half. So for second half, it's a bit harder, I would say, in the sense that you do take a few more cycles. But you can see Jing Liu is popping out with Bronya and Pela. Those are pretty much choices that are locked to the Jing Liu team, and either using Locha or Fushan. So you can see those are currently the damage dealers are doing really well. And in terms of utilization rate, it is the team we talked about with Jing Liu, and after that we're kind of having this mono quantum team, and followed by more Jing Liu and Blade and Dang Han team. So general, despite being the fastest cycle clear, is not that much used in terms of the utilization rate. So the difference is utilization is how many people that actually have those teammates, but how many people actually use those units out of the team. But lots of things can factor in, right? You might have high eidolons for some units, or you might not have the right gear for the others. So just take it with a grain of salt, but this is the utilization rate. Now looking back at the overall utilization rate across all the characters, you can see the 2 sustains, Fushan and Locha, at the very top, 98.5%. Basically, if you have them, you are going to use them, and 1 on each side. right? That is the two premier supports that don't just keep your team alive, but also offer more in terms of offensive capabilities. So no doubt they're placed at the very, very top. And of course, Bronya being the premier support is sitting at 91.9%, just because she enables so many carries like Jingdu, even Deng Han, and other units like Blade to extend other carries. So she's very, very good, and if you have her, you will for sure be using her. And in terms of damage dealers, the utilization rate appears to be Jingdu, Deng Han, sitting at the very, very top, and currently they are ranked S+ tier on the Prime tier list as well, so that does match this. And even though you see Seele and Jing Yuan a bit lower in terms of the utilization rate, it could also be because, like I've said, you know, people pulled higher Eidolons for Jingdu, or people pulled E2 Deng Han, and they don't have high Eidolons for Seele or Jing Yuan or Kafka, or because these units came a bit earlier. And it's very interesting to see Topaz up there as well, 70.3% utilization rate. So out of 100 people, 70 of them will be using Topaz. Of course, this may just due to the current memory chaos buffs, but it's very, very interesting to see Topaz there. Personally, I honestly was gonna go for E1 Topaz, but I didn't, which meant that I unfortunately skipped out on her. It's fine, it's fine. I already have my Jingdu and Deng Han, and probably the next team I'm gonna try to build is going to be a Kafka damage overtime, waiting for that 5-star, and also Runmei. Oh my God, Runmei. Oh, I expect to see Runmei up there as well as our first limited Harmony unit. Now, looking at the average cycle clear per unit, so very cool to see. If you take the unit and you look at them individually, the highest, the fastest clear time cycle-wise is actually Yukon. I think this is due to the fact that Yukon is pretty much right now only used with Deng Han, right? Most of the team comp, I would say 90 to 95%, you're going to see Yukon used with Deng Han, and in that team comp, it's a super hyper aggressive Deng Han hyper carry composition. So you're gonna see her perform really, really well, because other teams, for example, you're not gonna run Jingdu with the Yukon much. Okay, so even Deng Han, you're not gonna see him paired up with Yukon. That's why I think this is pretty much looking at hyper carry Deng Han, and hyper carry Deng Han does have a better average cycle speed overall across the various different teams, especially with Yukon. So I can see her being there. And Bronya, I mean, we talked about it, one of the best supports, and I think Asta is getting carried by Topaz and Jing Yuan. That's why she's placed that high. And overall, the other units you can see at the very top, Topaz and, oh my goodness, Topaz and Jing Yuan 7.41 in terms of average, followed by Jing Yuan. And the data gets then very skewed. You have Himeko at 7.71, and then Imperator Lune is slower than Himeko in terms of the average. So I actually think there are some players that just take 30, 50 cycles. I mean, you can't go that many cycles, but they reach pretty much max cycles with some of these other units, and that will obviously skew the result. But very interesting to see Himeko above Deng Han, who was almost beaten by the normal Deng Han version. So very, very cool to see that. And of course, man, the fire MCs, and these are the fire MCs, right? And physical MC placing at the very, very bottom. Even Hook. Oh, there's no Hook because it says units that appear fewer than 100 times were not recorded. So there's no Hook in this. Oh my God. And no Herta either. Wow, crazy. No Herta and no Hook. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts regarding the current memory chaos? And I'm very happy to see Jing Yuan at the top, because I think I've watched some recent Jing Yuan videos, and especially the new story with Jing Yuan included. No spoilers, but every time I see Jing Yuan, I do feel very, very secure. He just gives this sense of security, and as the general of Shenzhou Luofu, I really wish him all the best, and I hope to have his rerun banner, because I think I'll pull for more copies of Jing Yuan and his Eidolons after the Fantalia fight, after the recent story update. From a lore perspective, I absolutely love Jing Yuan as a unit. So hopefully we'll get a rerun, and until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.